It's the release night of Nobody 2, and you guessed it, it's a sequel to Nobody 1, a movie that came out in 2021 right after COVID started, and it was the perfect relief for me and my family. It's the same way with Nobody 2. Bob Odenkirk stars as Hutch, a man who just needs a break. He just wants to go on vacation and make memories with his family. Unfortunately for him, trouble seems to follow. He's a lot like John Wick, which may be the main criticism you see online about this movie. In my opinion, it does just enough differently to make it that much more fresh and exciting, and a go-to watch for me when I don't feel like watching John Wick. Nobody 2 doesn't break any new ground in the genre or do anything so crazy different that it sets itself apart in such a wild way. It's not like that. Nobody 2 is a solid sequel to a movie that also was the same way. Perfectly enjoyable for what it was. It's a simple premise. As I said, Bob Odenkirk's character just wants to go and make memories with his family on vacation, but he runs into some trouble. He can't seem to help himself, but cause some very entertaining and violent action scenes to ensue. And this film delivered. The action scenes were a blast. Again, nothing crazy, similar to the John Wick style, but just different enough to make them awesome. They also added an element of comedy, and the movie never takes itself too seriously, which made the action scenes feel lighter, but still just as enjoyable as a Wick movie. Not to mention the fact that most of the theater was cracking up throughout this film, which was awesome to see because a lot of times I find parts funny in movies and I tend to laugh out loud, but I have to hold myself back in the theater because no one else is laughing and I don't want to be that guy. But in this case, everyone seemed to find the movie really funny, and I could see why. They mixed it perfectly with the action. They knew exactly when to sprinkle it in, and it didn't feel shoehorned like some Marvel films where the humor can get a little bit cringy and take away from the action. There's even a little comedy in the way that he fights. He's not super pro at every single thing he does. He's a little bit older, a little washed up than what he used to be probably at one time, and the way he fights is a little scrappy and I would say a little bit brute force rather than technical skill, but that's what made the movie entertaining and that's what makes it different. Now, with all that said, the movie does follow many tropes. It probably made sure to check off the list of every single movie trope that it could by the end, and I will say it was a little annoying. There were times when a character's doing something that I've seen a million times, or the villain is acting in a way that's so cliche it hurts my soul. But at the same time, what did I expect from this film? Nothing really different. And that's okay. I think sometimes it's okay to just watch a movie and have a good time because the movie's not even taking itself that seriously to begin with. Christopher Lloyd plays Bob Odenkirk's dad in this movie as well, and it's just amazing. It's hilarious. It's just as good as the first movie, if not better, which you can't really say about many sequels. I like also that Nobody 2 stands on its own as its own movie with its own plot. Not that the plot's groundbreaking, it's pretty bare bones and basic, but it's perfectly serviceable for the type of movie this is, which is just a fun movie to go with your family and see and eat a whole bucket of popcorn because you're so into it. And it'll fly. The movie flew for me and my dad, who sat in the theater and watched it together. We were surprised when it was over, which is always a good sign because it means we were in the movie. We weren't thinking about what time it was. There's tons more I could say about this movie and analyze it, but I think at the end of the day, Nobody 2 is exactly what I wanted it to be. A fun action movie with shiny, polished action scenes with that little bit of comedy to make it not too serious, and with the John Wick style mixed in there here and there. So if you and your family are looking for something to watch this weekend or at any point for the rest of the summer, I say go watch Nobody 2, check it out. Everyone's gonna have a good time as long as your kids are a little older because it is pretty violent, to be honest. Other than that, you're gonna enjoy the movie. The way I left Nobody 2 was the same way that I left Nobody 1. It felt refreshing. It felt like a cold glass of water on a hot day. Like, okay, we finally got past these huge bloated 3-hour movies, even if they're good, or we got past the crappy Marvel slop that gets thrown out at this point, and you just gave me an original story, entertaining action scenes, endearing characters, a serviceable enough story, and awesome action scenes that remind me of John Wick. I can't really be upset about that, and I don't think you will either. With all of that said, I give Nobody 2 a B+. A perfectly enjoyable movie, not perfect, but it didn't really need to be, and giving it anything less or more doesn't feel right, so I'm gonna go with a B+. Thank you guys as always for watching. I truly appreciate it. Let me know what you thought in the comments if you've seen it or if you're looking forward to seeing it. I was surprised to see the theater was totally packed when I saw it last night, which was very cool cool to see, and I hope everybody else will get to enjoy it as well. I think it's totally worth seeing, and I'm glad movies like this are still getting made.